then I choose you.
Be cool, baby, okay?
Hey, bitch, come here. Got your motherfucking man, come here.
Mr. Pretty Tony, I mean, you know the rules of the game. I mean, your bitch just chose me. Now, we can settle this like you got some class, so we can get into some gangster shit.
Fuck being on some chill shit. We go 0 to 100, nigga, real quick.
Hello. What's up, good people? This is at KMGZ on Twitter. This is Thanks for Asking, KellzPodcast. I am back. Sorry for the delay. Listen, y'all gotta follow me on Twitter or IG, one or the other, because I'll be making announcements about the podcast that y'all be missing, and then y'all be hitting me on Twitter like, where the podcast? And I told you where it was. On Instagram is at Genghis Kells, GENGHISKELLZ. I post updates on the podcast there, and I post them on Twitter. So if y'all gotta follow me in one of them two places so y'all don't be in the dark when y'all don't see an episode, because I never leave you hanging. It's always an explanation. So the explanation, oh my bad, it's been a minute, I'm a little rusty. It's episode 357. Look, things have erupted. There are updates and new occurrences. So this one I have a little bit of a structure, but the podcast that I intended for y'all to have this week was totally different. So I had to start from scratch. So just bear with me here. I have a little bit of a structure, but I might be a little bit all over the place because this is like, I basically had to just rebut everything I just said on the one that I actually wanted for y'all to have this week. Okay, so let's just jump in. So I don't know what day it was. One day last week, Joe Biden finally decided he was going to jump out of withdraw from the race. No other word, which I thought was disastrous, because it's so much. If y'all been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, y'all know, particularly if you've been listening back since 2016, y'all know I have been telling you these same things for a very, very long time. And except for the 2016 election, which I was wrong about because I had my little data points that I was relying on, I had the wrong ones. I've been right about every single thing. And it is because of my prior work. And I know I have new listeners every day, so I have to keep repeating, which I hate to do because it sounds like I'm trying to like flex or make myself somewhat of an expert. But I do think I'm somewhat of an expert in this particular area because I used to be an expert for a living in this particular area. So a lot of y'all know I'm a veteran. I'm just going to go real quick because I feel like most of you already know. So I was in the Marine Corps. I was an intel analyst. I was a Russian linguist. I worked Russian C4ISR for 4 years in the Marine Corps. I was stationed at National Security Agency down at Fort Meade. And this is what I covered. I worked on the Russian desk. So basically we covered Russian command and control, the Kremlin, Putin, all that shit. And then when I got out, after 9/11, most everybody was pulled off Russia, who was still the main common enemy up until that point, and got put on, terrorism in the Middle East. And that's when I went to like Afghanistan and got pulled to that side and had to learn all that shit. Point is that I am familiar with the Putin game and the Russian game and the Kremlin game because it was my job. Okay. And I, I'm not going to go into detail, but I did a lot of different, when you're in the military, you don't do like, you have one like main job, but like it's the need of the service. So you get pulled in all kind of different ways. So it's like, you don't just get one job and do that the whole time. Like you might, hey, we need somebody over in this SOC, or we need somebody like, so you get, especially if you in intel, because they want you to be well-rounded, you get exposure, all different kind of things. And that might require you to do like a TDY, which we call temporary duty, which is just really any time you're not at your main billet that you were assigned, like at that base. So, we need you to go down to O&I, or we need you to go down to JSOC at the CIA. Oh, you know what? We need 2 Marines over at such and such. So you get a lot. Like, it's not just, so you get exposure to a lot of different things, and I did. So that's where my background comes from, and that's why I told y'all in 2016 that this was a Russian operation, because I just spent 7.5 years before I went to law school. This is what I did. So, I saw that shit in my sleep. It was like, oh, this is obvious. You know what I mean? So that's why I was on this from the beginning. I still try to tell people what's going on. They looking at me like I'm crazy, like I don't know what I'm talking about, because y'all watch the news, and the news is a propaganda machine and gaslighting y'all. So I said all that to say that in this election, just like the last election, if y'all recall, everybody was swearing Trump was going to win because it had to be Elizabeth Warren, it had to be these people to get all these super left people that was going to get 0 electoral votes. And I said Joe Biden is the only one that's going to be able to beat Trump, because they refused to vote for a woman, couldn't vote for Hillary, her emails, all that bullshit, which was a Russian operation, like I told y'all. And I said they need an old white man. And I'm telling you, these polls, they are polling white people. They are polling Trump voters. They're going to Iowa and sitting in some diner with 10 people that voted for Trump and polling them. All this swing voter state, there's no swing voters. You're either voting for Trump or you're not. This is not like a normal election. Like George Bush, yeah, he had swing voters. People like, well, I don't know. I'm not crazy about either one, but how bad could it be? Those guys, when you're dealing with a bigot and a Russian asset and an obvious racist and clown like Trump, and you are willing to use your hard fought, if you're not white, hard fought vote to vote for a man like that, you're not a swing voter. You're a moron, and you're voting for the moron. Okay, it's a cult. His voters are locked in. The people who he may have had on January 6, 2020, when they ran up on that Capitol like a fucking wild band of coyotes and killed that federal officer and tried to literally stage a coup and install him as president. He lost any, quote, finger swing or reasonable voters he would have had, because that was embarrassed. It was disgraceful, first of all. It was nonsense, second of all. You killed a federal officer, and it was embarrassing. That's the type of shit that goes on in the third world, in the Eastern European countries, in Russia, in South America. That kind of banana republic, goofy-ass shit goes on there. It does not go on in America, and that was embarrassing for the whole world to see that fucking musty band of Klansmen run up on the Capitol like that, bust in there, sitting with their feet up on the Capitol in our chamber. That was embarrassing for the country. And anybody who would see a man do that and still say they're going to vote for him, you're a moron. You're a fucking idiot. And no, we don't need to engage with you. You're in the cult. Fine. Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in 2020 in the largest electoral victory ever. Ever. He is the incumbent president. He's doing an amazing job. This has been one of the most progressive administrations, and actually not one of the most progressive administration in my lifetime, because Lyndon B. Johnson and I don't know who the hell else, that's before I was born. So my presidents have been Reagan, Bush Sr., Clinton, Bush, GW, and Obama, and Trump, and now Biden. Those have been my presidents. So he's been the most progressive administration of my lifetime. The people say very close to FDR, which was way before my time. And people voted for him because he had Kamala Harris as a vice president. Okay, there are two Americas. White people are the only race of people in both elections, 2016 and 2020, who voted, I say overwhelmingly, meaning more than a majority, for Trump. We know white women was the first time, 54%. White men were like 80-something%. I don't have the figures in front of me. I just know the white women percentage. And then after that 4 years of carnage, you would think, some of these white women would get some sense. They voted for him even more. They voted for him 58%. I think the white man vote was about the same. Those are his voters. It was not enough. He has about 25% of the population who was voting for him. Everybody else voted for Joe Biden. So this notion that, he's too old and all this shit, and he was going to, there has been no change. to say that, first of all, a one-term president is a failure. That is a failure. There have been 10 in the history of all presidents, because that is, if you only get one term, that is the American people saying you have done such a piss poor job that we're not going to give you another chance. And that's an exception. It's only been 10 in history. Most incumbents, even if they're just doing an okay job, well, we're going to stick with him because, he done been on, might as well let him finish it out. So for you not to finish it out, that says a lot about how terrible you were. To think that I don't give a fuck how old he is. I don't give a fuck how much he stutters. I don't give a fuck how many names he mixes up. And can we get into that? Because I am tired. Even my boss said this. I am tired of people saying Joe Biden has dementia. Anybody that has ever dealt with a person with dementia, that is not it. It looks like Trump, nasty, mean, rambling, saying the same things over and over, getting lost in thought. Joe Biden, he's got a stutter, so there's always that pause. Oh, he mixed names up. He's old. I mix names up. I ain't nowhere near as old as Joe Biden. I don't know. That's Chris from New Zealand. What's his name? Bob from New Zealand. Like, nigga, he got a lot of shit on his mind, okay? They trying to frame Major Harry Biden. They trying to frame my dogs and shit. My dogs in here trying to do justice and trying to tell y'all who the ops are, and y'all keep trying. I got shit on my mind, okay? I ain't got time to be remembering the president of whatever, New Zealand, whatever the fuck that's ass name, okay? That's not dementia. Is he old? Yes, but he doesn't lose track of his thoughts. I thought he shut Lester Holt the fuck down, and Trump was not going to beat him. I don't care what these polls tell you. I don't care what the media tells you. Nobody was going to go from 2020, where they all voted for Joe Biden, to 2020. Oh, well, let's put this dumbass in. Nobody was doing that. You are being gaslighted, okay? Nobody was doing that. And the whole notion that he couldn't beat Trump is nonsense. Got my water. Sorry, y'all. I got a new air conditioner, but it don't really kick like the old one, but it still makes the air a little iffy. So I just want to say that when Joe Biden dropped out, and a lot of us saw this in real time, they're denying it now. Hold on, sorry. The reason I said it was a disaster is because the whole push Joe Biden out thing, it was not about getting rid of Joe Biden. It was about getting rid of Kamala Harris, because the reality is Joe Biden is very old. We don't know if he was going to live through the next 4 years. I'm not wishing death on nobody, but he's 80-something, 4 years old. He's at that age. And so if he dies in office, that meant Kamala Harris is going to become president. And that's what they wanted. That's why they were trying to move Joe, because they wanted to move Kamala too. Because, like I said, these polls and these white people think they run the shit, but they don't. And they thought that they were going to be able to step over Kamala Harris, and people were like, oh, no. That's not going to happen at all. Only way we going away with this, along with this, is if Kamala Harris is the VP. And so once they coalesced around her, now everybody's shocked. Oh my God, they coalesced around. Like, I still don't understand how, after all these years, how we can get to 2024 and people still not see the fucking jig right in front of them. The problem is, everybody is so goddamn fake smart that they're fucking stupid. Because everybody's looking for the man behind the curtain. There is no man behind the curtain. The man is just standing on the corner telling you what he's going to do. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to take the money out your pocket. I'm going to rob you. I'm going to cheat you. Look, right here, I got the court. I'm going to go take it to the court, and I'm going to make it legal. Like, they're telling you. There's nothing being hidden. They're doing it right in the open. Stop looking for the real scheme. It's just there. It's just out in the open. So, yes, people coalesced around Kamala because Kamala was who we were voting for the whole time. I know you don't think 80 million plus black voters and Latino voters were voting for Joe Biden. No offense. But, like, that's not who we were voting for. It's because he had VP Harris on the ticket, and we knew, Joe's old. He's not going to probably be able to do 2 terms, and she's going to become president, and that's what we wanted anyway. But y'all, played the games with the bullshit, and she's unpopular, and what is she? All the same bullshit y'all did to Hillary. And I told y'all, all these polls saying Kamala Harris is unpopular were bullshit because they were asking white women in Iowa. Essence Fest, Kamala Harris spoke at Essence Fest. They did a poll of the most popular politicians to run for president in 2020. Joe Biden was 27%. Kamala Harris was right under him with 25%. And we know who the base of the Democratic Party is at that Essence Fest. So, and that's when you should have known who the real candidate was. But because we are black people, and we are smart, and we seem to be the only minority group who understands really the racism and white people in this country. All these other motherfuckers seem to think that it works one way when it works the other, because we knew that white men and white women routinely not only just vote for the white candidate, they'll vote against. They don't, they'll purposely vote against a black candidate, especially a black woman. Especially a black woman. White women voters are unreliable, and people keep saying, oh, they vote against their own interests. They don't vote against their own interests. They vote because they weak bitches, and they know that if black women can ever get in a spot without they asses undermining them and talking shit and blocking the way, and DEI and all this bullshit they bringing up, that they weak asses will be slid off the battlefield so quickly, because like many people are saying now, we're not unqualified. We're overqualified. Like the great Olivia Pope's daddy said, we have to work twice as hard to get half as much. We have to be excellent. We have to go to all the best schools, even though y'all still called us affirmative action hires. We have to get all the best grades. We have to graduate to even get our resume, not just passed aside. Whereas y'all motherfuckers can go to whoever state, get a B average, and they'll put you in charge of everything. Okay? So because we know that, black people, African Americans, specifically, my people, because we have such a long history in this country, because the civil rights that all the rest of you have are due to African Americans fighting for their freedom in this country and thereby pulling everybody else along. We understand how this country works, and we understand that it doesn't matter how much you side up to the white people, how much you coon for the white people, how much you tell them you're going, oh yeah, we're going to get rid of all the bad immigrants and all that bullshit. It doesn't matter. They do not see you as equals. They will never see you as equals. Proximity does not equal access. They just use you to implement whatever they want to do. Oh, we'll get the Latinos, we'll make them the good immigrants to use against the black people. We'll get the Asians, we'll make them the good immigrants to use it. It's a game. But you guys don't have, especially recent immigrants, you don't have the experience and the history in this country that we do, and you're so dying to be accepted as something other than what you are, that you just get used and exploited. But black people, we don't, because we know how to move in this country, and we know that they're not going to accept Kamala as a candidate straight up. But if we put her under this white man, that, again, not wishing nothing on Joe. Joe probably healthy as a bull, don't know, but is getting up there in age, and he happens to go on to glory, Kamala will become president. And once she's in there, then that barrier is broken. She can do a good job, and now we can go from there. And we know that because that's how we always had to operate in this country. And so, again, y'all can get mad if you want to, but any progress that has ever been done as far as civil rights and in this country has been from the black movement. Every other movement has been modeled off our successful somewhat, because these last batch of kids done took us way back and undid a lot of progress we made off of the civil rights model. And it didn't start with Martin Luther King. It started in slavery. For you disrespectful bitches always talking about, now my ancestors and I wasn't no slave. Those slaves fought every fucking day to get free, and that's why you free now. You think people just woke up in 1955 and decided they ain't like the way shit was? No. From the time we reached these shores in chains, we've been fighting for freedom. That's why we fought in the Revolutionary War, because that's why we fought in the World War I. That's why we fought World War II, because we gonna fucking do whatever we have to do to establish our citizenship and our foothold here. in the only country that we know. So that's why I did a whole rigmarole to say that when Joe Biden dropped out, had Kamala Harris not been the nominee, it would have been a disaster. Because at the end, and I will say before I go into how happy I am about Kamala, I'm going to say this: that's a very dangerous precedent, because what happened was donors, rich billionaires who are not plugged in at all and who are delusional and who watching the news telling them, oh, Joe Trump's going to win, they decided they were not going to donate to Joe Biden. And that's why they moved him out. Because and that's a very dangerous precedent to set, because next time it's going to be Theo or one of these other people, and they're going to want some fascist dickhead, and then what are we gonna do? Just want to put that out there. Everybody say I'm being a Debbie Downer, okay, but that's a dangerous precedent to set. That is a very dangerous precedent to set, because the voters voted in every primary that was held, and they voted for Joe Biden overwhelmingly. And if they wanted to vote for all these other people that they want to throw in the open primary, they could have. They did it. So you basically supplanted the will of the voters this time for Kamala Harris, thank the Lord. But next time it's going to be the Kamala Harris candidate that and some white guy going to decide no more black bitches for president, and then we'll see what happens then. That's all I'm going to say. But if you've been listening, so Joe Biden dropped out. They immediately coalesced about Kamala Harris, which, duh, and everybody's so surprised because she's who we were voting for. We being black, brown, and Asian people who ain't stupid. Put it like that. Not that little 25% that want to be votes for Trump and thinks that shit is one way when it's the other. Most of us, like, if you look at, that's why I tell people, stop looking at the polls. They're always wrong. The polls told you it was going to be a red wave. There was no red wave. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why the polls are always wrong. Because, like I said, they're interviewing Trump voters, which anybody that is waffling whether or not they're going to vote for Trump is a Trump voter. Okay, because nobody with sense is voting for that man. He's a 34-time convicted felon and would be convicted of more if we had an AG that was worth a damn. I can't wait for motherfucking Kamala to swing her silk press down there and fire his ass. Um, he the voters he has is the voters he's gonna get. He doesn't offer anything. There's no plan, there's no program, there's no future for America. It's just this dystopian bullshit trying to turn us into Russia, which is a country, like Obama said, that produces nothing, that creates nothing. It's all about grift and corruption. And that's what Putin is trying to do. He is trying to defeat America and democracy, just like Hillary said, by implanting this dude. Okay, that's it. People keep saying, "Oh, they'll vote." It doesn't make sense. If people were going to vote for Trump, if people were going to choose MAGA for going forward with the country, then the 2020 election, when you had the choice between the incumbent, which always has the advantage, and the new person who we don't know what they're going to do, and you choose the new person, that means the incumbent is a failure. He's out. Bye. That's it. That was it right there. So to think that he's going to come back, and not even on a failed president, on a successful president, it was never going to happen. Joe was going to be fine. Maybe he didn't get the youthful vote that Kamala may get. Maybe he didn't get the white women. We still don't know if Kamala going to get the white women. Y'all had very bad credit. I'm about to go on that in a minute. At the very least, Joe Biden would have got the same amount of voters that he got in 2020, which gave him the largest victory in American history. He would have gotten those same people. So all these people talking about Trump was going to win, y'all are, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. You're being gaslit. Where are these millions of votes that he lost the first time? So he's going to get millions of votes that he didn't get in 2020 plus millions more? Like, it makes no sense. So moving on. Kamala Harris is now, well, I don't think officially, because we have to go to the convention and they do the roll call or whatever, but I mean, she got all the support. She's going to be the Democratic nominee. I was in the original K-Hive, like I said. I think if y'all wasn't so fucking stupid and so goddamn gullible, and if these young people weren't so fucking hard-headed and just easily Oh my God, I never seen a generation of kids who think that they know so much more. I think they are so enlightened and they know the least of the least, the littlest of the little about everything. Golly. Like, I'm not saying Gen X was the most enlightened, but we knew things. We knew history. Our parents taught us things. Our parents told us things. We read book like you guys don't know shit that occurred before like the 10 years before you turned 8 or whatever. It's ridiculous. Like I saw somebody on TL talking about the electoral map and how Obama got this great map and they don't think any other president. And I was like, Bill Clinton's map shits on Obama's map, okay? Bill Clinton produced an electoral map in this country that nobody has ever seen before and will never and has never seen since and will never see again. Bill Clinton won almost every goddamn state except for like 4 in the deep south and like Idaho or not no, I don't know. One of them whatever that shit is. Them fucking where the malicious be at state. I don't think it wasn't Idaho, it was whatever that one to the left of Idaho is. He won every other state. That was Gen X. Bill Clinton was Gen X's young president, and we voted that motherfucker in hard as shit. You'll never see it, but that stuff like that, like, don't even know simple shit like that. So, oh well, Obama, because Obama is the first president you remember. Nobody had a map like him. Like, things are just so easily. All you gotta do is do a quick lookup and figure out. Oh, I actually don't know what I'm talking about. I'm wrong as fuck here. Actually, Bill Clinton, like. It's so annoying because y'all are so loud and so disruptive and have been such a barrier to progress because of it. Because you didn't want to vote in 2016. You keep wanting to focus on shit that's not important with this Palestine and all this other shit that I'm gonna get to. And you just won't fucking just do your fucking duty, which is to go vote for the right candidate that's gonna move us forward. And it's so frustrating because you are so fucking knuckleheaded. It's very, like I said, there's no man behind the curtain. Everything they're doing is right out in the open, and you're just still refusing to acknowledge that you're the fucking problem. Anyway, moving on. So if y'all know I was in the K-Hive. I've always been for Kamala Harris. All the things that it's just, I will say, it's very annoying to me because now all the praise and confidence you get, that she was always that way. But clearly the media and everybody else was working because they want Trump in there because Trump is going to let these businesses and everything do what the fuck they want to do with no recourse. And that's what they want. And so same thing they did to Hillary, they did to Kamala. Nobody knows her, and everybody talks about Maya Rudolph's depiction. I didn't like that because I thought it made Kamala look very unserious. It's not actually her personality at all. Yes, she laughs, but she's a serious person. She's not a joke. She's not a airhead. She's not a whatever that. I don't know what that depiction. I don't like it. I'm like, that make her look unserious and make her look dumb. Like, this lady is the vice president of America, and like who. I don't like it, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna bring it back." Please don't, because unless you're gonna get it right. But she is she was a senator. She was the head of the Intelligence Services Committee. We all saw how she sat there interviewing them lying ass Trump cabinet members, and I still think that's gonna come back. That's one thing that. So here's what I'll say. Cutting to the chase. Do I think Kamala can win? I do. I do think Kamala can win. I've always thought Kamala can win. I know that there are white men who are just not going to vote for her. I know there are white women who are just not. I mean, they're going to do what they do. They're going to do what they do. And I know everybody's jumping on the Zoom calls and, oh, God, I think the white women got. Let me tell you about white women. White women don't give a shit about shit. The only reason they got upset with Trump, which was helpful, is because they overturned abortion. In the history of America, white women don't care about nobody else's rights. They don't care about what nobody else needs. They don't care about, all they care about is their abortion. And as long as Roe versus Wade was safe, they thought they was willing to vote for whatever Republican, and they didn't give a fuck because, again, they don't want to move their position. That's why when they do all these surveys and they always ask black women in corporate America, would you rather work for a white man or a white woman? everybody always chooses the white man, because with a white man, you know where you stand. That motherfucker either hates you, or he don't hate you, or he's undermining you, or he's not, but it's gonna be clear. They don't smile up in your face and oh yeah, I'm champion DEI and all the DEI crew and all this, and the whole time in the background undermining you and undercutting you and just being a barrier, being in the fucking way. Okay, anybody in corporate America, y'all know what we talking about. So I don't trust them. I don't care. They have very bad credit. Y'all can say it's different this time. All I'm gonna say is, if white women don't, if white women vote over what, if majority, more than majority for Kamala Harris, good on them. But it would be the first time in the history of American politics they have ever done that. So all I'm saying is that we don't need them. We didn't need them to get rid of Trump. They voted 54-58 for Trump. Trump still lost because the rest of us did the right thing. So I'm saying in this election, we all got to get out and vote and put on our marching shoes and do the right thing. And if they want to join us, that's fine. But they not fooling me with all this shit, because we know y'all would get on all these Zooms and y'all would get on TV and mamala and oh yeah, I'll vote for her, and y'all go right in that booth and vote for Trump. You did it the last two elections. I don't trust y'all. I'll believe they'll do it when they do it. Okay? I actually would not be surprised if Kamala actually gets more white men vote than white women vote, because I have heard a few white men who I do believe, like I said, white men you can usually trust. If they say a certain type of white man, y'all not, there's this thing called the Bradley effect, where people will say they'll vote for somebody and because they don't want to be perceived as racist. The racist shit is out the window. Nobody don't get these, clearly they don't give a fuck about being received as racist anymore because they keep voting for Trump. So to me, if a white man says, yeah, I'll vote for, not saying he will, but I trust that more than a white woman, because again, they just say no, I ain't gonna vote for her. You know what I mean? Like white men, they just be like, no, I ain't gonna vote for her. You know, like they don't do what I'm trying to say is they don't do the thing so much as white women do, where they get up there and they smile and they saying all the right thing. Oh yeah, girl power, blah blah blah. What they mean is white girl power. So like I said, I'm not trusting them bitches. I'm not waiting on them. If they want to join the rest of us in the future, good. But we don't need them. If we get the youth vote, listen, the Swifties said they in for Kamala. The Swifties don't fuck around. Okay? The Swifties had the head of Ticketmaster down to Congress stuttering and asking questions. They got motion. So if they get the young white, Taylor Swift has a lot of young white girlfriends, they get them Gen Z or whatever they are, hey, that's enough right there. If they can get youth that don't refuse to vote to come out and vote for the first woman president, which I think they will be able to, we don't need these old white women. We don't need these boomer white women talking about, well, she has to be qualified, she's DEI. Listen, we know what DEI mean. Y'all calling us niggers. We not stupid. We know what that means. Because now all of a sudden everybody black she's unqualified. What the fuck are you talking about? She's a vice president of the United States, bitch. What are you talking about? You work the cash register at Walmart. Shut the fuck up. Oh, I'm so tired. Like, and I'm just so tired of people sitting in our faces saying that shit and it's going unchallenged. What do you mean if she's qualified? She's the vice president of the United fucking States of America. Do you know what that mean, bitch? And even if she was unqualified, was she not? What was Mike Pence qualified for? What did that niggas do the whole 4 years in office other than almost get killed on fucking election, the inauguration day? Not a fucking thing. So please, we know what y'all mean by the DEI. And like I've said on here before, that shit don't bother me. I've been dealing with that shit all my life. I went to Ivy League University. I've always been, in the elite schools, the top. I've been around these type of people all my life with the affirmative action. You only got it here because affirmative action, bitch. First of all, you could never come, and I didn't even come. Listen, I didn't even come from like super poverty and some of these situations that my friends did, but I didn't come from the wealth and privilege that they came from. Had I come from the wealth and privilege that they came from, I wouldn't be sitting in the same class with me worried about me at all. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you could not get to this room. I could, if I came from where you came from, I'm getting to this room. That's the bare minimum. Getting to this room. You could not come from where I came from and get in this room. At all. So, I don't give a shit about that, because at the end of the day, we in the same place, and we got to take the same test, and we got to get the same grade. So you can get all that. You're unqualified, bitch. I graduated just like you. I got to say, I got a higher GPA than you. Either. What's your excuse? My daddy didn't pay for all the special tutor, and I ain't had a tutor since fucking kindergarten, trying to get me into an Ivy League school. I didn't have a SAT tutor. I just went and took it how you supposed to with what you know. You know what I mean? I studied. I was smart. I was smart. That's how I got here. I was smart. I hustled. I knew what I wanted. I knew that if I wanted to get out of Philly, and I wasn't like in super poverty or nothing like that, but I wanted, that ain't the life. I didn't want to be in Philly. I didn't want that. I wanted big things. Okay, I wanted. If you want the life you want, you got to go out. You got to make it happen. Okay, you got to leave your block. You got to leave your hometown. You got to do things that give you new experiences. Whether and that's what I did. Cause I had ambition, I had fire, and that's what all of my generation did. I'm Gen X. That's what we all did. That's why we got all kind of different names, disruptors, X. What do they want? Because we didn't buy into the so-called American dream when you get your pen. We seen our parents, a lot of them, not mine, but a lot of them, or our grandparents even, who had, started jobs and after World War II, basically 40s, 50s, with the promise of, you work for General Motors, you work for here 20 years, we give you a pension, you retire with dignity. We saw these companies let them work up to like a month or two before or a day before they were going to be qualified for their pension, and lay them off so they didn't get a pension. So we saw them work them 20, 30 years and get cheated out of a pension. We saw them go into these jobs and do all this good work and be great employees for 20, 30 years, and they get them a gold watch. We saw that. So we was like, look, so it's just, and for what? So you can own a house that you slaved your whole life to pay off, just for them to lay you off, and now you can't barely keep your house up, and now you got to find another job, and you don't have no, we saw that, and we was not going for that. So it was like, yo, and all kind of ways we listen. Some of us sold crack. Like, that's what the drug era was all about. Like, yo, that ain't it. That ain't it. My fucking mama busting. My motherfucking mama worked at that company for 20 fucking years. They gonna lay her off. Now she gotta bust her ass down to Burger King. Nah, that ain't it. I'ma sell these drugs. That's fat or whatever. Or I'ma start this tech. Listen, Gen X, y'all hear me out there. We had hustle. We had ambition. Not to bring him up, but I mean, and it's the Diddy's, the Jay-Z's, the people that went out and got the money. We gonna make a music company. We gonna do this. We gonna do that. That was what we did, because we was like, that's not gonna be us. So we we have to take that spirit that we have now. So there's a sorry, I told you I was gonna ramble a little bit. So there's a debate: is Kamala Gen X or she a baby boomer? So the cutoff for Gen X, I've seen different ones. I go by 1970 personally. I think 1970. I think if you was born with anything six, you a baby boomer. But they say Gen X starts at 65 and goes to 80. Kamala was born at 64. So technically, that puts her in baby boom. But I say, if you on a cusp of 60, if you close to 65, we putting you in Gen X. You one of the oldest Gen X's, but you a Gen X. So we claiming her. The boomers can't look at her. Does she look like a fucking boomer? She only 59 years old. She a Gen X. So anyway, our Gen X politician who started out as DA, went from DA to Attorney General of California, to Senator for California, to Vice President of the United States, and now by the time we all put on our marching shoes and get to voting, President of the United States, first female, first black president of the United States. And we behind, actually, because Germany got Angela Merkel, the UK had Margaret Thatcher, even Mexico, misogynistic, woman hating ass country, got a female president. So like, it's time. And her slogan is great, because at the end of the day, I said this: we're not going back. You can put that Supreme Court up there, bribe them to do whatever you want to do. But if you think that people who have all their lives lived with certain rights are just going to stand around while y'all just decide, oh, well, can't have abortion. Nigga, you can write all the fuck you want to write. Like the great, I think it was it Abraham Lincoln? Somebody back in the Civil War days, they had a similar court that just was going the wrong way, and he said, "Look, the Chief Justice has made his ruling. Now let him enforce it." Like y'all can say it ain't no abortions, but people gonna be getting abortions. Y'all can ban these. Oh, we gonna ban books. People gonna read books. It's just it's nonsense. It's 2024. Other nations are going into the future. China, Asia, all these companies. Look at Paris. Look at the opening ceremony Paris just put on. Like we over here with our bridges collapsing and shit, and they doing fantastic shit like that. Like what the fuck? Like come on, we have to get past this dumb shit. So, I think Kamala can win because I think everybody else. I don't think the white. It's not 1950. The white vote is not the determining vote. If white people vote how they voted, and they don't all vote for Trump. They just a majority vote for Trump, right? If they vote how they've always voted, but the rest of us vote for Kamala, Kamala's gonna win the same way Joe won. 54% of white women can vote for Trump. 58 or what I don't know, whatever the white man is larger. It's like 70, I think. Percent of white men can vote for Trump, and the rest of us vote for Kamala. Kamala's gonna win. Now, what we need to look for is the jokes, the fucking with the voting machines, the throwing out the ballots, the shit we know they gonna try again. The armed coup, we know they gonna try again. They've been telling us they gonna try. That's what we need to look for. I hope we woke to that. I don't know. Obama and them stood around and played dumb. I don't know. Hopefully we don't have to go through that again. Hopefully somebody wakes the fuck up. Major Biden been biting Secret Service agents trying to let y'all know y'all defaming my boy. Y'all throwing him in jail unjustly. Free Major Biden. Champ Biden too. Both of them. Both of them just been in there biting motherfuckers. This one right here. That one right there. And y'all fucking just throwing the dog in jail. The dog's trying to tell you these is the ops. They only biting Secret Service agents. All the people that come in the White House and the Capitol, they only biting these niggas' hair. No, nobody. Come on, man. They German shepherds. That's what them dogs is bred for, to be protective. They feel that energy. They feel that dogs pick up on fear and emotions. That's why. Anyway, justice for Major Biden and Champ Biden. Is his name Champ? Whatever the other dog. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They done kicked my man all the way back to Delaware. They won't even. He can't even come on White House grounds anymore. He banned the shit. Injustice. Anyway. I do think Kamala can win. But I want to say I'm going to do everything I can. I donated the top money that I can. And I mean, I have always said that she can win. The media just wouldn't do it. And some of you niggas too was fucking throwing Kamala under the bus for that goddamn Elizabeth Warren, who is a huckster. I don't care what y'all say, her, Bernie, all of them left wing nuts, con people, just selling you a bill of goods. They're not gonna be able to do none of that shit. And I wish y'all would stop getting caught up on Bernie. Bernie's a fucking con man. Hillary Clinton read him down perfectly. He has not passed one bill. He has not done anything. He didn't even get into that job till he was 41. One senator supports him, and you can't name one fucking bill or anything he's passed in all that time. He's a con man. I think she can win. I think it is, but my expectations are tempered, like I said, because it's going to be a lot of bullshit. It's not ideal, but I will say this. I have to give the Democrats credit because I see the strategy. Because the whole thing was Joe Biden's old. He's dementia. They was rolling with that, even though I don't think it was going to work, but that's what they were rolling with. And so the message is we're not going back. We got this old, racist, bigoted white man and his followers who are from another time, who are trying to take us back to the 50s and the 40s when all that shit that we've worked so hard as a country to move past and get rid of, we're not going back to that. That's what they represent. And it's hard to say we represent the future. We represent progress. We are a multinational country. We're not just this rate with Joe, but not saying Joe Biden's rate, but with another old white man. Basically, old white man versus old white man. It's hard to draw a contrast. Whereas if you move Joe out the way and you put Kamala Harris, who is her father was Jamaican, black, her mother was South Asian, Indian, I believe. Let's just say POC, Indian. Who is so covered and a woman. And let me just say, for again, to Americas, you got so many white people stumbling over themselves to look the fuck dumb because y'all will not ever do any research or seek any knowledge. Y'all just speak out because you think you know everything because you're white. Talking about Kamala Harris is not the typical black experience. Kamala Harris went to Howard University, a historically black college and university, one of the most elite and one of probably the most famous HBCU in the country. There are many. I can't name them off. Apparently, there's 100. I had no idea. I can't name them off. But the most prominent are Howard, Spelman, Morehouse, FAMU, and Hampton. Yeah, most prominent. I don't Clark Atlanta. All y'all don't get mad at me. Morgan's don't get mad at me. But I'm talking about the ones nationally that bring up that everybody know. And of all those, Howard stands out the most, and it's because Howard and Morehouse, I will say, and Spelman stand out the most, and it's because so many esteemed black people from the past, Martin Luther King, and all these other people, have gone to one of three or all of those universities. So that Howard is the Mecca, like they call it, like. It's going to Howard as a HBCU. I don't like to draw this comparison, but just so y'all can understand, it's like going to see, I don't even really want to say Harvard. People say Harvard, and I get what they're doing with that, but I don't think that's accurate because Harvard is Harvard, but it is not like Howard is more like a it's there. In other words, Harvard is an Ivy League school, and yes, it's a people from all over the world want to go, and it's a very prestigious school. It's the best school in the nation, but it is not super popular generally. Yes, it's elite, but it's not Howard. Think of Howard as like Harvard mixed with like a USC or a not so much USC or maybe a University of Texas or like a uh whatever, what's another big school, Ohio State. It's not just elite, it's also popular. It's where all the good black students who want to go to HBCU, because not everybody does, some people go to regular PWIs, that's like the premier school. That's where you want to go. So to say that somebody who has gone there, I mean, I could be here all day naming you the famous people who have graduated with, gone to, associate with Howard University. It is just the school. To say that somebody, first of all, who went to Howard just doesn't have the black experience is completely ridiculous. Then to say somebody who's gone to Howard and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which was the first historic black Greek letter organization organized in the United States. God forbid what is AKA is 1903. Don't kill me, y'all. I know Alpha's 1906. I believe AKAs are 190. Don't kill night early. Okay, early 1900s, before 1910. The AKAs were the first. Delta Sigma Theta rolled off of AKA because they had a little difference of opinion, and then all the rest of them followed. I don't know. I just know AK was first, Delta was second. I know Alphas were first. I believe Qs were second. My uncle a Q. That's why I only know the ones and the people I know. But anyway, Black Greek letter organizations, if you don't know, are because historically the y'all wouldn't let us in the schools. First of all, when we finally got into your schools, you wouldn't let us in your sororities and your fraternities. So black people, as we always do, we make our own shit. So the first and a lot of it is tied with veterans coming back from World War One. So that's what a lot of the veterans are coming back from World War One are going to HBCUs, and that's why there. If you don't know, there are many correlations between well, I'll say many loose, because it's not the same, but many loose correlations between Black Greek letter organizations and military, and it's because they were founded by that, like the marching, the step shows that comes from, the military formations when you march, but Black people, we got to put our own spin on it. The whole pledging process comes from like boot camp. That's where a lot of people, I don't even know if people in the Greek organizations know that that's where it comes from, but that's where it comes from. The whole you can't, you can't claim if you're not a member, if you didn't go through the process to officially become a member, you can't claim to be a member. That's just like the military. Like if you ain't go through army boot camp and back then, if you ain't fighting the war or do whatever, don't be claiming to be no veteran. That's bullshit. You're not no vet. Like that's where it comes from. And for my white people listening, I know you guys have sororities and frats too, but it's a different setup. You guys just do it. It's an activity. Basically, you do rush, and it's an activity that you do in college, and it's only in college. And once you're out, it's just like another activity. Black Greek letter organizations are not like that. It's a lifetime commitment. So it's more, think of something like the Masons or the Elks, or I think something like that, where it is a veteran. It is a lifetime association. They take it very seriously. There are lots of them in Congress. There are lots of them in corporate America. That's why when something occurs that they feel they're all incorporated. They're all like national organizations with like all kind of money. They have these things called, I don't know how to pronounce it, is it boule or boule. They have like these conventions. It's a serious thing. It's not just some random activity doing college. These women and men. My uncle is a founding member of Omega Psi Phi at West Virginia University. My aunts that are AKAs, Deltas. My cousin tried to pledge Omega, but he didn't make it. I never did because I don't know. Long story, I just didn't. I was gay and ain't know it, and it just wasn't. If I was going to do either one, it was going to be AKA, and it would have been, it wasn't. So anyway, um, and plus the chapter where I went to school at Cornell University was very corny, and me coming from Philly, I was a fly. I was fly, okay? I was fly, I was cool, I was an athlete, I was always cool, and them little dorks was not going to be able to haze me. It just wasn't going to happen. So I was like, well, if I do it, I'll do grand chapter. Never did. Anyway, so that is, if you don't know, that is the ultimate Black experience. Like, to say that's, you don't get no blacker than that, okay? You don't get no blacker than an AKA from Howard University. That is like the elite blackness. You don't get no blacker than that, okay? And not to be the explaining Black culture, nigga, but just for you to understand, like in Black educated, I guess you want to say elite, I don't know, whatever circles, like the premier, if you a Black man back in the day, and probably maybe now too, I don't know so much, but like clearly, like back in Jim Crow days, you wanted a AKA from Howard. Like if your wife was, that's like a supermodel. Like that's like the highest of the high. So Coretta Scott King was a AKA. Yeah, it's just, that's how it is. Like, so they are like, and y'all gonna kill me. The Delta's probably screaming right, bitch. Listen, I know. I'm just telling you historically and like culturally for a little bit. The AKA from Howard is like the top tier, the one everybody wants. If you want to take a little gander, and it's very camp, and it's a musical, and it's very over exaggerated, but it will give you some of the feel of like the dynamics between the two. If you ever watch Spike Lee's movie School Days, it's kind of, because Spike is Spike a Greek? Is Spike a Greek? Is he a Q? I don't remember. I don't know, but I don't know what Spike is. That's wild. I don't know that. But anyway, School Days is a movie basically about an HBCU campus, and there's a frat. I forgot, like, there's a made up name, but it's, if you're familiar with the frats, you know the one that Spike's character pledges is Alpha. It's supposed to be Alpha Phi Alpha. It's called something else. And the one that Lawrence Fishburne, not Lawrence Fishburne, the other frat, that's supposed to be Q's, and then the girls that Jasmine, Tisha Campbell, and Whitley. Damn, what's Jasmine? I'm forgetting everything. I'm telling you, I haven't to redo this to storm me off. Anyway, the light skinned girls are supposed to be the AKAs, the dark skinned girls are supposed to be the Deltas, and like I said, it's very exaggerated and it's very camp. But if you watch it, you could get some idea of the different cultures of the organizations. But anyway, the point is, it's very black. Okay, and AKA their colors are pink and green. They were pearls. Um, Historically they were typically, and this is all stereotypes, it's not necessarily true, but historically the branding was that the AKAs were more the light skinned pretty girls with the straight hair, and that's what I say, you'll see this in school days, and the Deltas were more the sister girls with the natural hair. That's a stereotype, and you, it's not like, it's not, you're gonna find, in other words, you'll find both on both sides. This is very much a stereotype. Maybe in the South it more sticks to that. Where I'm from, you never know. It just depends on, AKAs are more culturally, they're more like the prissy ladies, so they're gonna, and Deltas, not that they're not ladies, they definitely are, but they're seen to be more like community, not community oriented, more like the shea butter girls, the natural hair girls, the I don't know, more down to earth girls, whereas the AKA girls are supposed to be the prissy, pretty girls, and you could tell, and like how they do their step shows and all of that. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on that tangent, but the point is, and I definitely mean a Negro explainer, but I just need y'all to know how ridiculous you're gonna sound if you say that Kamala Harris does not have the traditional Black American experience, because she does. She has the Black American experience, right? I would love to know what her pledge number was. And do anybody got, somebody got to find footage? Oh my God, if they found footage of Kamala Harris in a step show, oh shit. Hey, YouTube detectives, I need y'all to come up with that. That would be amazing. Somebody got to find, because they film, I know it's on film, because they film almost all that shit. I guarantee you when Kamala pledged, somebody filmed a step show. Somebody go get it. That would be amazing, unless she don't wipe it from the internet, which I doubt. Um, yeah, so I do think she can win. I think she is gonna win. But I'm tempering my excitement because I don't want to jump out the window, because like I said, I put it like this. I think there are some hurdles that Kamala has to overcome that Joe would not have just by being a white man. And you're going to get a bunch of people that's just going to vote for an old white man that probably won't vote for Kamala. But like I said, we'll make up for it on our end, but she does have some challenges. I know everybody is lining up. She's a beautiful woman. I've said that before, but they can run both ways, because there no more hated bitch in the world than a smart, pretty, intelligent, capable woman. Boy, this motherfucker, it's a whole slice of America and just the world that hates you just for that. So she's gonna be running against that. But I think she's charming. I think people making fun of her laugh. She never gave fake to me. I'm like, Kamala just seemed like one. And she said that she has her mother's laugh and she comes from big women laughers. And she was like, don't ever let nobody take, if you want to laugh, laugh. Don't let somebody take your laugh from you. Oh, you laugh too much and now I'm going to not fuck you. Who are you, right? Um, she just seemed like one of them people who just, if we ever in a don't laugh situation, don't look at me because I'm gonna laugh. And I tend to be one of them people too, so I understand it. Somebody said, you know, that picture of her and her sister doing that laugh. Somebody said, I know their parents stayed like at night, like go to sleep, like they in there laughing and shit. That shit is funny, but no, I think she'll win. I think we're going to do everything we can to make her win. And I think once she wins, it's going to be great. I'm just a little annoyed that all these people that sunk her the first time and now are the same people talking about Joe this and Joe that. The only reason we had Joe is because y'all just couldn't vote for her the first time. It had to be a white man. So we gave y'all this white man. And now because he had one debate that nobody even watched, that people was just, I mean, he had one bad debate. He said he wasn't feeling well. He talked to NAACP. He talked to unions. He had strong debates after that. They didn't want to say that because the media, Trump is the media's guy. They want him back in because they think it makes money, and they for some reason thinks that a dictatorship will be good for them. I don't know why, because every dictatorship on the face of the globe, what's the first thing that goes in the tank? Fucking economy, because they control the papers, they control everything. I mean, what's it like to be a journalist in Russia if that's what you want to go for? I don't know why they think Trump is the guy. Mm. They want him to win though. So it's the New York Times is damn near propaganda. That's why I tell people like it don't even really make sense to watch the news because it's propaganda. Like they don't. First of all, moving on because I got to talk about this. So if you follow me on Twitter, you know me. Supposedly they tried to assassinate Trump. I say supposedly because I said the second I saw that shit was fucking fake. It's staged. It's a staged incident. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I have been to combat zones where I have carried and fired M16s, Glock 9s, M14s, this other weapon I can't recall right now. It's kind of like a AK, but it's the other weapon. It's what's that thing called? It's like a Tech 9, but not. It's bigger. M14. I said that. My bad. Anyway, all kinds of weapons. Seen people shot. The civilian version of an M16 is an AR-15. It's the rifle that everybody trying to get banned because y'all say it's an army rifle, it's a combat rifle, and it's a weapon of war, and you can just shoot too many people with it and kill them, which is all absolutely correct. M16 is low key is a AK-47 is a better weapon. I'll tell you why. Some people disagree. M16 is an M16 is very accurate. The U.S. military uses an M16 because it's very accurate. If you know how to shoot and you aim and fire, you can shoot somebody right between their eyes with an M16. But it's very finicky. You have to keep it clean. It will misfire and it will malfunction if you don't take care of it. It's a very finicky weapon. It is very accurate. It is very good. But if you don't clean it like you're supposed to, if it gets a little bit of dirt in it, it gets a little water. If you drop it on the ground, you might knock a little piece off. Like we was at rifle range all the time, having to switch out weapons because I don't know, somebody just put it down a little too hard and the sights get off. It's a very finicky weapon, but it is a accurate weapon over long distances, whereas an AK-47 is not as accurate like it at all, but you can drag that shit through the mud, you can drop it in the water, pull it up, it will fire. If you are anywhere in a range, it'll hit you. It's not as accurate as far. Don't get me wrong, you can pull up an AK-4 and shoot somebody, but an M16 500 yards out, which is like 5 football fields. If you can shoot, you can put that M16 on the rifle, you aim down range, you'll hit something at 500 yards, like I said, right between the eyes if that's where you're aiming. AK-47, forget it. Forget it. AK-47 beyond like, I don't know, 200-300 yards, you just spraying and like hopefully you hit something. But you probably will because the motherfucking rounds will go through cinder block and everything else. So to me, AK, I understand the M16 is good, but like, nigga, if I drop this thing and it don't work and now they shooting at me, give me, I want to be able to pick my shit up and just get niggas off me. So I think AK-47, but M16 is a very powerful weapon. It is a very accurate weapon, okay? If you have ever seen, you don't even got to be in combat. If you just ever been in the street and seen somebody get shot with even a 9mm or a 38 or a shotgun, Martin Luther King, rest in peace, was shot with a Remington 750 rifle, I believe. I think it was 750. I know it's a Remington rifle, okay? He was shot very similar to Trump. It did not graze his ear, but he was shot in the neck. They were aiming for his head, they missed, and shot him in the neck. Blew him off his feet and down onto the ground, like that famous photo we've all seen from a Remington rifle. A Remington and an M16, they're very different rifles, but similar. If a round comes anywhere near you to where it is grazing you, it is knocking you off your feet, especially from 200 yards, which is like the second shortest distance on a Marine Corps rifle range. It's knocking you off your feet, and if it comes anywhere to, quote fingers, graze you, it taking half your face off. If not half your face, it just skin you. A M16 round that comes clipped enough to clip your ear is going to explode your ear completely because your ear is just a little piece of flesh. And I done been in Afghanistan, seen all kind of graze wounds. It'll peel half your face off with it. That bullet is hot metal. It'll peel half your face off with it. I ain't never seen nobody get grazed with an M16 like that. AR-15, whatever, like that. Soon as I saw that, I knew it was fake because number one, and people think I'm crazy, whatever. I told y'all what I did. This is kind of shit they do in Russia all the time. They fake assassinations, they fake uh and the whole point of it is to be able to come back just like Trump did and say, oh, they're trying to kill me, but I am strong, and put them big posters just like Trump did. That is the whole point. That's what they do in Soviet Russia, and they've done it for a long time, to be a strong man, to show that you're indestructible. Do it in Africa. Can't nobody kill me. I'm indestructible. And that's what the point of it is. So anytime you tell me, now this is the same Secret Service, mind you, that we have not investigated from January 6th, but that we know from testimony from people there on that day, some Secret Service agents pulled up in a car and tried to take Mike Pence. And Mike Pence said that he didn't get in the car because he just knew that if he got in that car, it was going to be bad. He ain't see the guillotine they had out there for him, but he knew he shouldn't get in that car, and it was Secret Service agents in that car. And just so happened, all the Secret Service agents that day wiped their text clean. And our attorney general has not investigated any of it. All he's done is the low level people, dumb asses that ran up there, but none of the people. Clearly, this was an inside job. None of the Secret Services, none of the Congress people, no investigation whatsoever. They wiped their text. We don't know. So we already know from that there are Secret Service agents that are compromised. Number one, that are compromised for Trump. Okay, call me crazy, but I just think if he has the Secret Service detail, it's probably them same people. Because why wouldn't it be? Why would he get new agents that he don't know if it's in, might go tell on the shit he be doing, don't know if he could trust, might report back? I'm assuming it's gonna be them same agents loyal to him. Okay. I ain't never seen nobody get shot like that. I ain't never seen a quote figures assassination attempt like that. If you ain't got to take my word for it. Go Google YouTube and watch Ronald Reagan when he got shot. Watch how those Secret Service agents react and compare it to what they did with Trump. Those Secret Service agents identified the gunman immediately, jumped, smothered him. But Reagan, who was actually hit by a bullet in his chest, was swooped up, put in that car, and drove directly to the hospital. And we got up. I remember I remember that day because I was coming home from school. I think I was a little kid. What was that, 80? I was about, was that 80? I was 6 or 7. But I remember I was coming home from school, and when I walked down the block, saluting my mom, when I walked down the block, everybody was like out talking about it. And I remember going to the house and seeing it on the news, and they kept showing it. And from the second it happened, update. At the hospital, arrived at this time. Doctors are working. Has this wound, has that wound, this time, out of surgery. Update, everything. As you would expect when the president got shot. This man, we still don't even have a medical report. He was treated for a bullet wound. Where? I knew the second I saw that it was fake. I could tell the way he went there. He grabbed his ear first, and he stood there holding his ear. Like I said, if a M16 round got that close, half your face is gone. You're probably shot in the head and you're dead, but let's say not. Half your face definitely gone. Your ear's going to explode, and it's going to be way more blood than that, okay? And you're going to drop from 200 yards, buddy. You're getting knocked off your feet if you got hit by an M16 round. Let me tell you, that shit is taking you off your feet. This ain't no little pop pistol gun. It's a fucking M16. It's taking you down. You standing there. Then they come put you down. Now they grabbing all around him. We don't know what they doing with him on the ground. All we see is this Secret Service agent with this white handkerchief on this man's ear. You're not a doctor. What are you doing? The proper protocol is to lift him up and take him to wherever he's going to be. They're on the ground forever. Then he gets up and he has this wound on his ear. Now, y'all can say I'm crazy. Y'all don't got to believe me. Y'all can say I got the silver hat on. That's fine. I know that was staged. I know that was fake. I know that man with that white handkerchief had a blood capsule, and that's what sprayed on that man's ear. Because I have never in my life seen any kind of bullet wound where there is no spray of blood. You have a hot round flying. If you've ever seen anybody get hit, it hits you. If it hits you straight, it hits you, especially a graze. Blood is going to spray in the direction of the round. This man had no spray nowhere. Nothing, no blood on his collar, no blood in his hair. When that round hits your ear and explodes your ear, your blood is going to go in a spray. It's going to be in your hair. It's going to be chunks probably in your ear, in your hair, on the ground, on your collar, on your face, everywhere. None of that. His hair is still completely tucked around his ear. The blood is only smeared around his ear. And then there's one little clot of it, like where I think the capsule was broken. So when you break the capsule, that little piece right there, that's where all the blood, and then it's smeared around the outside of his ear. Look at that picture. Don't take my word for it. His hair is tucked behind his ear. There's no blood anywhere in his hair. There's no blood on his collar, on his shirt, on the hat that he was wearing. There's no blood. When you see that hat initially, it is not until they stand him up. He says, wait, by the way, they put my shoes on. So he puts shoes on. And then when you see the hat again and the same guy with the handkerchief with the blood capsule, then you see blood dripping down the hat, but it's not on the side of the hat that the president was shot, which was the right side. It's on the other side of the hat that he's holding. No reports of what hospital he was in, no description of the wound. Even when goddamn shit, I don't know, John Lennon got shot, got killed, they said he arrived to the hospital, they did life safe. They tell you point by point he was unable to be saved. Just random. You get more details from like random people shot. They took the kid to the hospital, but they like, come on. This is the least investigated assassination tip in history. It's staged. They're saying that he got hit with shrapnel from the teleprompter. Okay. Show us the shattered teleprompter where the glass came from. I think that's bullshit. Because even if it was glass teleprompter, once again, flying glass. Anybody ever seen anybody get hit with flying glass? You don't just get a one nick. It's like little pieces and scrapes and scratches. The man has no scrapes and scratches nowhere on his face. And I didn't see that angle of that shot. I don't see a teleprompter that's in the path of the bullet. Maybe it is. I don't see it. I don't know what occurred. Also, the gunman. Many people, you're going to tell me, 200 yards is so close. 200 yards is, a football field is 100 yards. You ever seen a football field? 2 of those. With a rifle, with a scope, is like, if you look at 200 yards through a rifle with a scope, it is basically something that is 5 feet in front of you. That's how 200 yards looks with a rifle. Even without a scope, again, that's the second shortest distance on the rifle range. It's still not really far. If you can shoot 200 yards, it's probably the range. Put it like this: 200 yards is the range where beyond that is where you can see who can really shoot and who can't shoot. Because if you just aim the weapon properly and fire like you're supposed to fire, you should be able to hit at 200 yards. You might not hit the bullseye, you might not hit the head, but you should be able to hit the target from 200 yards. It's beyond that where the skilled shooters, where the in the Marine Corps we have this thing called the pizza box, which is like the worst shooter on the range. You have expert, you have marksman. Those are the beyond 200 yards is where you start separating the marksmen and the experts from the pizza boxes. Okay, that's the range where now it's 200, 300, 350, something like that, I think, and then 500. That's when you got to really start knowing how to shoot. Okay, I was a marksman, just so. And I only missed expert by one shot, and it wasn't my fault. Like I said, my rifle, the sight, the rifle I was firing with, I dropped it, and the sight got a little off, and I knew it was off. But when you're on the range, I had to fire it just to see that it was the sight. So when I see it was the sight, I raised my hand. But that one shot that I had to see to make sure it was the sight, and not just me not firing right, because don't let it be you, because you raise your hand and say the sight is off, and that drill instructor come, and he's an infantry drill instructor. He go down on that knee and fire that motherfucking rifle, and that shit hit the bullseye. Oh Lord! So don't let it be you. So I made sure it was not me, and they switched my rifle out. And after that, I finished up, but I missed expert by 1 round, 1 point. So I'm a marksman. Anyway, That shit was staged. And this little, all I'm gonna say, and then these people, y'all think they would fake that and shoot a man? What makes you think that a man who let millions of people die from COVID because he thought it was only affecting black people and Democrats in blue states, then told people to drink bleach, then, and this is just what I'm mentioning. We know it's way other stuff that more ridiculous shit they did. Threw paper towels, people in a hurricane in Puerto Rico. Then ran up on the Capitol to stage an armed coup and killed a federal officer. What makes you think he gives a shit if in his fucking stage shooting incident so he can get reelected, some random person dies? I don't know what happened. I find it funny, though, that nobody has even confirmed that the round that killed that man came from that kid's rifle. I don't think that kid shot at anybody. Or if he did shoot at somebody, for whoever told that kid to walk that mile with that ladder and get on that roof, whatever that kid thought he was going to do, because his comms are encrypted and he has searches on his computer for Lee Harvey Oswald. Let me tell you something. The way that this is being reported is also very suspicious to me, because when you say searches on his computer, that's very general. Because okay, did he search it? Were there keystrokes? Because you click on a link, the wrong link, or somebody sends you an email, hey son, you're going to get free tickets to the Trump rally, click on this link. They can get in your computer with that and make it look like you searching for whatever, and the FBI can tell that. So the fact that there's no detail on this, and they know very little about some teenager who supposedly walked into a shot at Trump is very suspicious, okay? Because 9/11 hijackers, the next day and the day after that, we had them identified. We knew who they were. We had video from them going into the airport. We had identified who was on each plane. This is the fucking BI, okay? I find it very odd that this teenager is stumping all these people. I don't know what happened. My guess, though, this is what I think. I don't think that kid fired at anybody. Or if he did fire, he didn't fire at Trump. Somebody told him, hey, I don't know what they told him. I don't know what made him think that kid go on the top of a roof, but I guarantee you somebody directed him to go there. And I don't know if they told him what was going to happen. Who knows? They might have been like, hey, I don't know. These Trump people are crazy. Everybody told him he's helping protect the president. I don't know what they told him. I just know that these are the kind of stunts that guys like Mike Flynn and those and Orban and all of those Paul Manafort, was it Manafort? Whatever. All those guys that got revealed as Russian agents, the kind of shit they pull all the time. I don't know what they told that kid, but I would be very interested to know if the round from the rifle that kid had is the one that killed the man that got shot, because I don't think it is. I don't know who was firing out there, if it was him, if it was somebody else, but that's the other thing. When have you ever seen a shooting or assassination attempt or assassination where do they know if he's had an accomplice? We don't even know if there was more than one shooter. There could have been more than one shooter. He could have been the decoy for the person who was really shooting. That was determined to miss the president. You know what I mean? Like, we have zero information. And I don't think that kid shot, or if he did shoot, I don't think he shot at the president. I think somebody else was shooting, or they told him, hey, shoot, just pop some shots over the trees or whatever. I'll put it like this. I don't think that kid went there with that rifle and that ladder and knew he was about to die. I don't know what he was told. I don't know who got him there. I don't know how he walked past all them police, but it's giving Uvalde to me. Police just standing there letting this guy walk by with a rifle and a ladder with the president there, the Secret Service. That lady, if she knows something, she should say something, because I think that's a setup. Because, first of all, if you don't check nothing else, you check the rooftops, because that's where a sniper is going to be, on the rooftops. And you have agents positioned from every angle so that if anybody goes on any rooftop, they can see them. Why is that? From the JFK assassination, because supposedly Lee Harvey Oswald was in the book depository building. So now, as standard protocol, you're on the rooftops. Nothing about that was legitimate. I if you think that they would not stage that, not give, they didn't even want to go. They wasn't even gonna go to that man's funeral. So till it mentioned. Now let's talk about this band-aid on his ear. Excuse me. First of all, it shouldn't look like an envelope. I keep calling it an envelope because that's what it looked like. Look like they folded an envelope up and put it on his ear. But again, y'all could say if he was shot in the ear, we would have seen a picture of that wound. We'd have seen a picture of the treatment. We'd have how many stitches or whatever they had to do to bandage up that wound. And anybody that's ever been shot, that's an envelope. That ain't no gauze. That's not a bandage. That's not a legitimate bandage. That is a envelope, piece of paper, something, tape, I don't know what, that they have on his fucking ear. That is not a bandage applied by a medical professional. That big square piece of white looking fucking dumb. Okay? Anybody can tell you that. But if you look at that bandage, get the pictures, as many pictures as you can. First of all, the day after the shooting, he was at the golf course, didn't have no bandage on, didn't have no wound on his ear. He shows up at the Republican convention, now he got this envelope on his ear, okay? But pull up pictures. Just go Google, find as many images as you can, and zoom in on that envelope on his ear and tell me if you can't see the outline of that man's entire ear. Whatever that is, they have pressed against his ear. It's pressed against his earlobe. And you can see the entire outline of his ear. There's no scar. There's no divot. If that thing was really shot, there would at least be some blood there. Blood leaks through gauze all the time. If it's pressed that hard, that's a staged incident. That is a false flag. That is a staged incident. I don't know what this investigation is going to find. I think that the FBI knows that it was staged. I think that Joe and them know that it's staged. I think that people in high places know that shit was staged, and that's why the information is coming out how it is. Things are being phrased the way they are. Well, we're not sure if he was shot, but it's fair. Why are we going back and forth with this so-called doctor about whether he was shot by a bullet or not? Produce the medical report. Show us the wound when he came in. Show us the treatment. Show us how many stitches you have. Pull that envelope off your fucking ear and show us the wound. Show us the wound. No blood. Show us your ear washed clean with this graze mark on your ear. Show us. Because I don't believe it. I don't believe no bullet was fired at him. I don't believe no bullet hit him. I don't believe any glass hit him. I think that was staged. I think he put his hand to his ear when they came and got him down on the ground. They put that blood, that WW. Y'all watch wrestling. Y'all know how they had a blood package and make it look like it's one of them. Because first of all, the blood was too red. And if you've ever bled, you know when blood comes out, it's red. But once it gets exposed to the air, it's not as red anymore. It gets a little darker. And it's that ain't look like no real blood to me. That shit was too fucking red. Looked like a blood capsule. And then like I said, those two drops that were running down his cheek. First of all, they didn't originate from the wound. They were on his cheek. So you telling me the wound is on the outer side of your ear and it was bleeding? It's either going to bleed straight down your neck and into your collar, or if you say you threw him on the ground and his head was coming forward, okay, it's going to bleed across the ear down to your cheek. Where's the blood? You know what it looks like? It looks like somebody did a blood capsule, they had a tissue, and then the drip from the tissue is on his cheek. That's what it looks like to me. Because where's the source of the blood? You got this coagulated blood, so their blood coagulated that fast. You just had your ear ripped off from an M16 round, piece of your ear ripped off, and your blood has coagulated in just that one spot that fast. It's just running around your earlobe. It's not down your cheek. It's not down your neck. It's nowhere else. Look, y'all want to think I'm crazy? Y'all want to think I sound like the dude at the end of the Alien movie? Randy Quaid, fine. If they investigate this properly, it's going to come out that was a stage incident and they killed a man in a stage fucking incident, like they do in Russia all the fucking time. And I'm not going to go into why I know it was Mike Flynn, but if you've been paying attention and if you know intel, you'll know that, well, Mike Flynn got kicked out under the Obama administration for being a Russian asset. Mike Flynn has been long known, though, to be a Russian asset. Even when I was in, he was getting looks then like, hey, this dude, what's going on with him? And one of the things that one of the type of plans that he would come up with that people should do to try to do this or that was fake assassinations, which is directly from Russia. They knew he was a Russian agent because he was giving presentations and suggesting things for different wars or whatever the case was, that people, because we have worked Russia so long through the Cold War, recognized as Russian suggestions. Oh, do you think we should fake? Oh, that's in other words, they knew the Kremlin was feeding him information because everybody who works in intel, who has Cold War warriors, as they called them, knows Russian operations when they see it. So that's how he got identified. And one of those things that he would suggest was to fake an assassination. And so with Mike Flynn being on Trump's campaign and in charge of his thing now, the fact that there was a staged assassination, it makes sense. Because that's like one of his things. Anyway, if you believe that man was shot at, fine. I don't know what happened, but I don't think that boy, I know Trump wasn't hit with a bullet. I don't know what they said to get that boy up on the roof. I don't know what he thought he was doing. I don't know what he thought he was there to do. I don't know if he fired rounds or not. Perhaps he did fire rounds and and he's the one that killed the man. But I think, again, that's easy to confirm. Just match the bullet because you have the weapon. Where's the shell casing? Basic shit. If Trump was hit, this is why I don't think he fired anything. If Trump, they say he fired 4 or 5 times. Where's the shell casings? You can't show us that. If Trump was hit by a bullet, show us the shell casings that were fired. Has anybody seen that? Because I don't think he fired that weapon. Somebody fired, clearly. But I just feel like if it was him, they could show us the weapon. They could show us the Kennedy assassination, way before my time. Seeing so many different versions of that shooting, the puff of smoke here, this there. That's the other thing. This picture with the bullet in the air. Listen. No regular camera can catch a bullet. If you videotape a bullet being fired and you slow the aperture of the video camera down slow enough, we've all watched the reenactments on History Channel, whatever, or the shows where they slow it down so you can see the bullet actually hitting the body, etc. They slow that down so much for you to be able to actually see that round. You gonna tell me a regular photographer held his camera up at just the second that bullet was flying by his ear? Okay. This is why I worry for humanity, because some people believe, and not to keep harping on it, but just like with Jussie, and just like with the girl who they snatched her car in the middle of the road, like stuff don't make sense. If it don't make sense, you gonna have to explain it to me before I'm just gonna jump out the window with it. And you gonna listen. You want to call me tinfoil hat, fine, but you're not gonna just tell me any fucking thing. That shit don't make sense. They was out there just in the coldest night of the winter in the polar vortex. To come hang you in MAGA country, hang you for what? I don't know, the light post, I guess, and beat you up, and ain't nobody stopping your Subway sandwich. You still had your Subway sandwich in the bag. Don't make sense. You was on a highway in Texas or wherever you from, little Shikari, whatever the fuck your name was. You was on a highway. We know it's cameras all on roads now. We know it's all kind of people coming by, and somebody just stop and snatch you out. The girl, the first thing they gonna do is check them cameras and see that ain't none of that shit happen. Like, stop. Y'all believe any fucking thing, bro. Excuse me. Y'all believe any fucking thing. And I knew as soon as I saw that, he did not react like a bullet. I've seen, again, watch the Reagan assassination. You can see Reagan comes out, he blades his body to the left, and he waves his right hand, and that's when the shots ring out, and boom, one hits him in his chest, and you see, if you watch that video, you can see the second that round hits him, because he stops, his face goes completely blank, and he drops, because the bullet hit him, and you can see the recognition on his face that something was wrong. Watch that, and then watch Trump put his hand to his ear and just stand there. This man who we have on other videos when it wasn't even nothing, like a little bump, and this nigga tried to get off the stage. Plus, Now, this is when my little tinfoil hat might come up, but whatever. I'm right. If you watch that video, when Trump is so-called shot, and they run up there's a guy down in the front row with a black t-shirt. When they get him on the ground, there's a guy in a t-shirt with a black shirt that turns toward the crowd to somebody in the back and signals, waves his hand like they do on the runway at the airport, waves his hand and signals. He turns back around. When he turns back around, there's another guy on the opposite side behind Trump, behind the stage where they're on the ground. And that guy also has a black shirt on, black t-shirt, and stands up and he holds his fist in the air with a signal. And after that guy does that and sits down, they stand Trump up. To me, maybe, like I said, a tinfoil hat. It looks to me like when he first went down, the first guy was to signal, okay, they're putting the whatever they're doing. And then the second guy was to signal, okay, they're done. And then they stand him up. And the reason I say that is because somebody else did video, which I saw, where you could see the Secret Service agents before he was going. There were photographers behind Trump. They tell them to go around. They tell them to go around to the front so they could get a better shot. And if you notice that picture, that famous picture, all those Secret Service agents are looking down at the camera, smiling. Trump holding his fist up like an idiot. They're all looking at the camera, smiling. What kind of assassination is this? What kind of fucking assassination attempt is this? Y'all don't know if it's another gunman. Y'all don't know if somebody else gonna start firing. Y'all don't know shit. Y'all don't let this man put his shoes on, pose for a picture, and y'all smiling for the camera of the photographers that y'all just told to go around to the front. Watch it again. Don't take my word for it. Watch it. You'll see a guy down in the front. He's got on sunglasses. He's got a black t-shirt. He stands up. He turns around. He waves his arms to somebody back behind the crowd. Don't know who. Maybe the shooter, I don't know. Back behind the crowd. Then he turns back around. They doing whatever they doing with Trump. When they stand Trump up, you'll see the guy behind Trump and them stand up with his fist, puts his fist in the air, a little signal, sits back there. I don't know what they signaling, but I think they signaling that they got the blood on now. Now let's go. I could be wrong, but y'all watch it. Y'all tell me. That shit was staged. You will never convince me. I need to see the medical report. I need to see the bullet. I need to see the bullet from the man that died. I need to see it matched to the rifle of the shooter. I need to talk to the shooter. Where the shooter family at? Where the shooter family at? Where's dad? Where's mom? Where they at? Hey, what happened? Oh no, he's going to the Trump rally like every other one. Where? Where's that? They shot the kid. Okay, of course they shot him. So you was able to shoot him after he fired the rounds, but you ain't see his ass on the roof 200 yards away. Man, look, y'all think I'm the fuck stupid. I ain't buying that shit. I ain't buying that shit. No, that was staged. That was nothing real about that. He wasn't hit by no glass. He wasn't hit on no round. He wasn't hit by shit. That shit is fucking fake. And you can tell because he got an envelope on his fucking ear. They don't look like no kind of medical bandage I ever seen. Where's the Band-Aid? Where's the gauze? Where's the stitches? Come on, man. You got a fucking, I don't know what that shit is. Or it ain't even medical tape. It ain't even medical tape. What is that? And you can see your ear underneath and total, man, look, listen. All right, I'm off that. The other thing I want to tell y'all, it's just be very long, whatever. Other thing I want to tell y'all is like, so, I'm married now and I haven't told y'all a whole lot about it, but people keep saying it seemed like very quick. It wasn't quick. What it wasn't. I've told y'all the story. We were together for almost the whole time I was in the Marine Corps. We broke up right before I went to law school. We had always been in contact, but there was distance. But she was always because she is from the deep South. She's from Macon, Georgia. She was raised in all that religion of hell and brimstone, and it was just like it's her business. So I'm not going to tell her business. It's her business to tell. But I'll just say that religion be fucking y'all up. The gays, the LGBs, that religion, if you raised in that, it be fucking y'all up. So she had to work through stuff on her end because I wasn't gonna do that. I was like, I love you to death, but I'm out, and I'm not going back in. I'm not doing that. I don't believe that. I was not raised in that way. I don't believe that I'm a sinner. I don't believe that none of this is sin. I don't believe in none of that. I think God put me here, and if He wanted me to tell me I was wrong, He can tell me. Not none of y'all motherfuckers, right? So I just didn't think it was going to work out. But, in the time we spent apart, she did the work. But the point is, it wasn't quick and it was intentional. listen, Fems, all y'all on the timeline, all y'all, and this is for the gays, straight people. I mean, if y'all get something out of it, good, but I'm talking to the gays. Listen, all y'all on the timeline can't find this, can't find that. It's because y'all are not intentional. This woman that I married when I first we were both stationed at Fort Meade together. And it's not a lot of Marines, period, at Fort Meade. It's not a lot of black Marines at Fort Meade, and it's definitely not a lot of black female Marines. When I got there, there was one staff sergeant that was leaving when I got there. Her, me, that's three. Oh, and this one other chick, four. There was four black female Marines at Fort Meade. The staff sergeant left. There was three. It's not a lot. So when you see one, it's kind of already a thing. But she was always like, talk to me real nice, but I heard that southern accent, and we in the military back then, it was still don't ask, don't tell. And as soon as I see somebody black with the southern accent, I'm thinking, oh, it's Jesus. So I was friendly, but I was keeping it cute, because back then, people look, you was not getting me, because back then, like, it was a lot of shit going on, and then, they get caught and the word come or whatever, oh, I saw so-and-so with so-and-so, then they try to act like, oh, no, she took advantage of me. I've seen it happen to people. They set you up, or they don't want to get in trouble, so they make it like it was all you. And Fort Meade was close enough to Philly and close enough to DC that I would go there for work, but I did not socialize anywhere near around there. I'd go home to Philly with my people, or my homeboy who was also a Marine. Will, he was from that area. He was from Gaithersburg, but we lived in Rockville, which is way far from. So I did not stay around, because military bases, boy, you want to talk about gossip, boy, and it's an army base, and army motherfuckers is the most chatty patties ever, especially about Marines, right? So I just kept it cute with her, but every time I saw her, it was always she was always intentional about talking to me. And I didn't pick up on it, because, again, I mind my business, I do my work. But the first time we had a real conversation, like, besides, hi, bye, chit chat, whatever, around other Marines, I was walking out of the deck, and she was walking in, and we said hi, and she stopped me. She physically, I was gonna say hi, say my little thing, keep it moving. As always, she reached out and grabbed my arm and pulled me close to her she was telling me some shit that had happened, some stuff that I had heard about, but didn't know the whole story that involved. It was a scandal. Put it like that, scandal at Company B, that everybody kind of knew about and heard a different side of the story, but she was involved in it, and so she told me the story. But she grabbed me by my arm, because I was trying to slide off and chat. Okay, now she grabbed me and held me, and when I said, huh, I don't know, I was like, oh, something about that, like, that's when I kind of knew. I was like, oh, because people don't do that, right? So she grabbed me and she held me there. She told me the story, and ever since then, that's when I knew she liked me. So it went from there. But my point of that is, I keep seeing people on the TL, especially Femmes. Look, I'm sorry. Don't nobody know y'all gay. Y'all keep wondering, well, I like their picture and I followed them. That's not enough. If you like a nigga, you got to grab a nigga by the arm, and you got to be the one, because we don't fucking know. Y'all look straight to us, and don't nobody want to be trying to, ain't nobody got time for that. If you need to be the one that is assertive, and y'all motherfuckers can't find the person, everybody on vibes, because you on vibes too, liking the IG, liking the tweet, doing this little subtle shit. Ain't nobody got time for that. If you want to you have to be assertive. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. People gotten burnt too many times. Ain't nobody, unless it's obvious you're wearing the rainbow shit, which nobody does, and I wouldn't talk to nobody wearing no rainbow shit anyway. You have to be intentional. My old lady grabbed me by my arm, and it's been on and up since then. And so I just want y'all to know, it has not been quick. That's the only person I ever would make. I can't explain it, but people that found their person, the person that just make you feel like home, like you don't gotta explain the whole. Like, she knows when I'm in a bad mood. She knows when I don't want to be bothered with something. Like, I don't have to like, if somebody suggests something that she knows I'm not going to want to do, I don't even have to coach her. She'll already know, and then she'll be like, yeah, I know you, like, stuff like that. Just, we know each other well. I appreciate that, because you don't get that with some people, it's always an issue, because they just, why would you, I don't want to do that. No, why would you know what I mean? Like, so she was always the one, but she was intentional. And y'all are on this old vibey bullshit and all these old stupid timelines. Yes, I tell people, it takes a year to try to get know a person before you really know them, but you gotta do things to get to know them in the year. Y'all with this, well, the next date gotta be 3 weeks. Nigga, ain't nobody got time for that. It's too on to the next one. You moving too slow. It's no vibe. Nobody all this whole vibey shit. Be intentional. Be fucking intentional. And that's why all y'all on the market can't find nobody, because both of y'all passive, sappy motherfuckers. Reach out. The people that got somebody, got their person because they reached out and they fucking got them and they stood on business. So it wasn't that fast. It wasn't overnight. Yes, there was a long period of time, but thankfully she reached back out to me, let me know that things were different, and we've been on like popcorn ever since, because I was like, look, it was always, again, not my business to tell, but always that what she was going through, that I was not going to live my life like that. I just was not. Loved you, but hey, look, I'm a Cancer. It ain't nothing to cut a nigga off. Love you to death, but it ain't nothing to cut a nigga off for us. So I just wanted to mention that real quick because I'm tired of people saying that it wasn't quick. The other thing I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all now, is that I'm gonna have to get a surgery on my leg. My little basketball injury that I've been physically rehabbing forever has finally it needs to be repaired. I ain't been on a Peloton in weeks, and honestly, I'm looking forward to it because my whole left leg is swollen, and I'm just tired of it. And the doctor was like, "Look, it's a very routine surgery, and after you're gonna be fine." And not that I don't want to sound like the old nigga from high. Not that I want to be running ball again, but I do like to sometimes be able to go in the gym and just shoot some shots. You know what I mean? Like just do something. And right now, I'm like limping just to walk. So I'm gonna be on crutches for a couple months, but that's okay. So just letting y'all know. So I'll let y'all know when the surgery come up, but just know it's gonna be in August, and so I don't know that I'll try to still give y'all episodes, but I don't know, depend on where how it's gonna suss out. The other thing I want to tell y'all real quick is the Olympics are on. Go America! It's the only time we are all just all. Well, not the only time, but the main time we are all USA, and I'm all for them. And I can't wait for track and field. I can't wait for basketball. I watched fencing this morning. Look, this fencing was live. Like they was trying to kill each other. China and North Korea was going. This dude from I forgot some country. They said he never lost. The dude from I think it was Italy. I was they had it on the split screen. I was like, God damn it! I mean, that shit was live. I'm like, and I've watched fencing before, but I don't know if it was extra spicy. That Chinese dude, that South Korean dude, they was going at it. The U.S. guy was fighting the Egyptian guy. Egyptian guy whooped his ass. It wasn't even close, but yeah, fencing was lit. Um, so let's all enjoy that. The other thing I wanted to say, I ain't gave y'all no music in a minute, yo. Billie Eilish's album, she did her big one. This album is amazing. I love it. I think right now my Janelle Monáe joint, Country Cowboy Carter, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, of course. I think those are going to be like the favorites for album of the year. But I also want to say Kehlani's album is really dope. I don't know how it's doing. I know some people said they didn't like it. I think it's an amazing album. But if you were expecting a typical Kehlani R&B album, then I can see why you don't like it. She's definitely doing something different, breaking out of the mold, and it's a really good album. The thing about and I don't know how Kehlani's albums ever really do. Like, I don't know if they go number one. I don't recall that they ever do. I don't think that I think she does decent. I don't think she's like a top 10. I know she has singles, but I don't know if she's like a charty. Maybe I'm wrong. But one thing about her is she's out, and because Billie Eilish, and like Janelle Monáe is one of the handful of women artists that are out, she has that automatic gay audience baked in, so she'll always be able to tour, and her albums will always go because she's out, and she sings about being out. That's the thing. I love songs they writing about being gay. All these other bras who were claiming bi and this and that, y'all know I don't believe them. I think they fake. All that DL bullshit, I'm not with it. Like, I don't see y'all out with no girlfriends nowhere, unless y'all in the club doing that club shit. Kehlani, I don't know. They say she married. I'm not really. Well, I don't know. They showed that a marriage license was registered, so I guess she got married. I mean, it seems legit. They don't. Anybody can get a marriage license, yes, but they don't file it until you get married. I don't know if that's legit. Maybe they made it up on the computer. I don't know, but they saying that she married to one of Beyonce's A&Rs. that worked on the Country Car album. I don't know. But anyway, point is, she be out there with her girlfriend. So do Billie Eilish. I appreciate it. I think the album is really good. I think it's one of the ones you guys, it's like Anti, where you got to listen to it over and again to really get at it. But it's only one song in there I don't like, but I think it's a good album. I don't know how it's doing chart wise. I know she's going on tour, but I think y'all should. I think the people who don't like it just want the same old that Kaylani always gives them, and this is not it. Um, but yeah, that that's it. Like, I've been talking to y'all way long. I made y'all wait, so I gave y'all a long episode. So I hope y'all appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Like me, rate me, tell a friend, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.